Over the last 6 months, I've spoken at over 22 different locations, from public events to group sales meetings. And in this episode, I'm going to break down the biggest lesson I've learned from those 22 talks, the things that have changed, what's worked, and how my delivery has been made more engaging. I'm Eric Libby, and this is Built from Scratch, a show where I share my lessons as an entrepreneur and also highlight stories from founders under 30. So to keep things simple for this episode, I've put everything into 5 different takeaways, trying to make it simple. The first takeaway I've had from the talk so far is people care about what you can do for them. And so in our business, we target real estate brokers. It's a great referral source for us. We just help out so many of their clients with those simple projects around the home. Typically, these agents are busy. They barely have enough time to be at that meeting. And so I've noticed in the past, whenever I go more into details on my background or on myself, you might get a couple people interested, but in most cases they are checked out, like on their phone, or they are just, you can tell they're thinking about other things. And so we've had to be very intentional. Like, if we are going to go meet with agents or any presentation, it's about, how is this pertinent to them? Why should they pay attention? What are the reasons we can give so they're actually like, okay, whoa, that's actually a problem that I experience. The second one is keep it concise. And I'll say especially the origin story. So a lot of times I'll start with how it founded. It was helping my grandma with household chores, doing moving, yard work, cleaning. And one day she had 200 bags of lava rock dropped in her front driveway. I still give a little bit of context, but I've realized when that drags out, we have people that are far less interested, maybe for a point, but then you can see the attention kind of drop off. And so secondly to this point, which is interesting, and it's more of like a reflection I've had back from when I was in college and in high school, so often we were rewarded for a certain word count or a certain duration of a video we had to create. And we almost were pushed to add more words. And I've always thought about this. It's like, in a lot of cases, the simple verbiage, if you can say 10 words in one, say one word. Like, the flowery language doesn't help. If you can get right to the point, you're going to get people that are a lot more attentive. And I've realized that, like, when I would prolong, just as an example, that origin story, people would be interested for a few minutes, a few seconds, and then kind of drop off their attention. So I have to really concise it down to a box. Is like, how can I transfer it so you have some emotional tie? Like, okay, I helped my grandma at one point. My grandma needed it. Her neighbors needed it. And now we're helping you today. Like, how can I make that so simple? And it's interesting. We've always been rewarded to like add more words, but it almost sounds like better or more professional. But really, it's like, if you can't explain something simply, you don't truly know it. So it's an interesting point in number 2 there. Number 3 is explain how it works simply. So at the end of a presentation or a meeting, if your buyer doesn't understand the process, they won't buy. It doesn't matter if it's the best product or service ever. If they are confused, they are going to stop their action. And so I've had a couple of presentations, and this is why I reflect on it, where at the very end, people said, so how do I get in contact with you? Which is like alarm bells. This should be one of the first things that's like covered. Like, once you get into the past some of the initial details, it's like, this is specifically how you get in touch when you're ready to use this service. So I've learned this is morphed. The presentations I've done have changed, but there's 4 steps I go through now whenever I schedule with a customer. And so it's changed obviously from the start, but there's 4 steps I'll take them through whenever I'm explaining it. And so the first one is, they can book online or they can call us by phone. Simple enough. Number 2, select appointment details. This will be like type of project, duration, when they want it. Step 3, dudes show up at your house or business. This is the day of the project. Step 4 is payment by credit card or debit card. And so I've tried to consolidate those words. Even the words I just said can even be trimmed off information. It's like, how do you make that so simple, where we say this often at the To-Do Dudes, is like, it has to be simple enough for a 5th grader to understand. And so by default, if a 5th grader can understand it, then anybody can understand it. But if it's not simple enough for the 5th grader, and it's like, it's a little laggy, or maybe it's just like verbiage that we use internally that we know, it's not going to resonate with some people that might be confused. And again, if they pause, they're going to halt their progress and they're not going to buy. Number 4 is speak to their pain points, not features. So it's similar to number 1, and number 1 being that talk about them, not so much you. But where this is different is, you could get confused when you say, here are the 3 features, because this is applicable to that person that might be interested. The problem becomes is People don't move based on just pure features. A lot of times that's a logical vantage point that you're selling from. And so trying to think about the emotional, how do you get behind it? What is the deeper rooted issue? And so an example that I've seen a room shift when I bring up this question is I say, has anyone ever dealt with a service provider that gave like a 4 hour window? The window started, got to the end of it. Where's this contractor? An hour goes by, another hour, day is gone, nobody shows up. And I can see the room, like I see the room shift. I'm like nodding heads, like, yeah, like almost like a frustration. And then I can, under that, then I can tap, this is exactly what we do to solve it. Okay, boom. Has anyone ever felt this? It's again, keeping the emotional part of it so they can really feel how they've had negative experiences in the past and how your positive solution will completely change how they've felt. The fifth and final one is end with a clear, time sensitive CTA. So there's been so many times where I finished a pitch and I'm like, feeling all proud, like, okay, that was good. Went and spoke really well. And a week would go by and I'd look back and I'd be like, did we get any bookings? Did anybody reach out about it? And I'd realize there wasn't any reach outs. I'd be in a room with 20 people, nobody reached out. And so what happened as a reflection is there was no momentum. There was no clear like next step. I was like, here's the info. Okay, bye. And so I've completely shifted my approach, realizing that there has to be something actionable and also time sensitive. You have to have both together. So what I've adjusted to now at the end of a meeting, I'll say, here is 2 free hours. Give us a try. If you like us, then we'd really appreciate the opportunity to be introduced to your clients. But what it does is first, that's the actionable, like, hey, here you go. Here's the offer. I want you to take action on this offer. And then I followed up with, this offer is good because you guys allowed me to come into the office today. I really appreciate your time. There'll be an expiration of, we'll say like 4 to 7 days. That's usually what I do, somewhere in that time frame. And it makes it very clear where they have to take action and they realize, okay, if I lose this, then I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get that service. But if this is another thing I've realized, if I extend it out 2 weeks or a month, usually people completely forget about it. They make a note and it's gone and it's not as hot as it was when you first were speaking to them. So in closing, whether you're pitching a product, a service, yourself, just remember 5 points. It's about them, not you. Keep it brief. Attention is earned. The third one is make it simple, like you're talking to a fifth grader. Speak to their pain, not just your features. And then fifth and finally, always end with a clear next steps. I'm Eric Libby, and this was Built from Scratch. Enjoy the day.